So, I'll be real with you. I find INFPs extremely difficult to seduce. They have so many seemingly contradictory traits coexisting within them. Deadly pessimistic and worried about the state of society or humanity. Yet, also cute rays of sunshine. Sometimes both of these things over the course of one day. Their extroverted intuition means that their personality never really sits still, jumping into new phases and new perspectives to see how they feel about them, and whether those things can be inducted into their introverted feelings value system. One week they're free-living hippies, the next Zen monks. It can be kind of hard to keep up with them. So before I start to speculate on how to seduce them based on their cognitive functions, one thing I would say regarding seduction in general is that remaining static in any way is generally bad. Predictability is probably the worst sin of all. I've mentioned before in this series that the inferior function of a type is a good place to aim at because they're not great at doing it, yet they do value it and appreciate people who can do it well. INFP's inferior function is extroverted thinking, so simply helping them get things done in an effective and efficient way is a good way to endear yourself to them. You would think that would be really easy, and in theory, it is. But INFPs cannot stand to be controlled or pushed into things. Any attempt to be pushy will simply be resisted out of principle. Plus, coming into someone's life and trying to solve their problems is often a road to tragedy. Firstly, because you have your own problems, and it's hard to respect someone who is clearly trying to solve others' problems as a way to avoid their own. Secondly, you don't really want to seduce someone who is not capable of solving their own problems. So essentially what I'm advocating is trying to help them be more efficient and effective and organised. Do it with subtlety and do it slowly. Demonstrate that you can solve your own problems. Then hope that they eventually either ask you for help or leave the door open for you to give it. So I'll give you another blatantly obvious nugget of wisdom. Learn about what they value and what matters to them. Both high FI and high TI users basically love doing whatever interests them, not what they feel like they ought to be doing or what society expects them to do. They are very interest-based. So like everything with INFPs, this requires a lot of effort. You need to get them talking about what books they're reading, what podcasts they're into, who they love, who they hate. Just start downloading all of this data. Then, if it isn't already, then find a way to make that stuff interesting for yourself. You'll have these experiences whenever you're trying to seduce or even just befriend someone. And I've certainly had these with INFPs, where you just can't seem to get a flowing conversation going. The only way I've ever managed to solve this is to get them talking about something they really like. Then you'll have the problem of getting them to shut up. But you need to do this in a non-judgmental way. When high FI users are revealing things about themselves to you, even if it just turns out to be a passing phase, it will generally be something they care about on a deep or personal level. It will resonate with them in some way. So any sense of judgment that you have, or maybe logical critique, is probably going to be taken personally. If by nature you have a really strong desire to analyze and break apart things, then treat this as an exercise in analyzing people. Don't start arguing or debating. Just listen with an open mind. I can't remember who said it, but there's a quote that you can be so open-minded that your brain will fall out. So I'm not just saying you should accept the crazy spirituality things that INFPs can come out with sometimes, or bizarre theories of conspiracies they have. I'm just saying you should listen first. Not least because, and this has been my experience, you'll often find that there is quite a lot of wisdom in the things they say. It's often just not packaged in the way you would normally expect.